we are on the heels of what ended up being an interesting pay-per-view, if that's what you want to say about it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 13 of Under the Middle Rope. I'm your host, Jose Tawada, and yes, this past Sunday was Backlash, and you'll hear my thoughts in the discussion for sure, but I'll start off by saying it was something. I guess, it wasn't the strongest pay-per-view, but you'll hear my thoughts as we go along. And of course, they did have that greatest wrestling match ever, quote unquote, which surprisingly was pretty good. But again, I'm gonna save all that for the discussion because there's so much to talk about. Andrew Wolf-Holtman, Pete Atkinson, RJ Stacey, they're all back to give their thoughts after predicting last weekend. We do have a new Under the Middle Rope podcast champion, so stay tuned to see who won that title off of Wolf, as it's hard to defend it after one pay-per-view. We're noticing that's a big theme here. So can't wait to crown the next champion at Extreme Rules. So that's all I'm going to say. Let's get right to it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our Backlash Fallout. Hey everybody, welcome to the discussion. As always, the same usual gang from last week is here. Wolf to my right, Pete below me, RJ to the bottom right, hip hip hooray, we're all back. Let's get right into it because we don't want to waste any time on what was an overall, I think, a very poor Backlash. Can we all agree on that, gentlemen?
It.
Oh, you liked it.
All right.
I thought it was fun.
Okay.
Jose, you kind of want to check with us before you say these things. So this is a mystery story all over again.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess.
So what Jose thought was
there was a lot of crap.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, there was
someone
a lot
that was at Backlash 2018. This was not a crap Backlash.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, in comparison to that, this was like the best WrestleMania ever.
Right. I mean, I just say as a whole, it just felt like Backlash for the most part was fairly weak. There was a lot of terrible matches with a lot of questionable decisions, and just I don't know. I mean, I'd say like the second half was better than the first half.
For sure.
I think so.
The second half was one match.
Well,
second half was a match and a movie.
Yeah.
Yes, that's also very true. But anyways, before we get on to the Backlash card, obviously we need to clear some things in the air, as of course the defending champion was our good old friend Andrew Wolf-Holtman. Unfortunately, Wolf lost it, and I don't even want to just entertain it. I'm just going to quickly say it. Pete became our new champion over the weekend. The man crushed, and when I mean crushed the predictions, I mean he crushed. Let's take a look at the graphic right now. 6 total points for Pete. RJ and myself with 3, Wolf with 4. You gotta love that Miz and Morrison pick, and we'll get to that as we get on down the line.
You
but
still
overall,
tied with me. You tied with me, and I picked Miz and Morrison. You didn't even pick Miz and Morrison, and you still tied with me.
Thank you, RJ.
Thank you when I picked it.
The tiebreaker was not. The tiebreaker wasn't needed, as you can see in the graphic. The tiebreaker wasn't needed at all. But yeah, RJ's right. Despite not picking Miz and Morrison, I still ended up tying with them. So what else? What else can we say on this? So let's get right to the card. We're going to run down exactly how we ran down the predictions last week. So we're gonna start off with that questionable no contest of Nia Jax and Asuka. Asuka retains by default. However, it was a no contest, which ended in a double countout. So nobody technically got it right because nobody won the match, nor did anybody lose the match. I guess I would say in that perspective. Wolf, we'll start with you on the outcome of that women's match.
I wasn't looking forward to it, and so I had no expectations really going in. Asuka's great; she could probably get a good match out of anybody. And to her credit, she got a pretty decent one out of Nia Jax, but the ending really hurt it for me. I mean, on one hand, I don't want Nia to stay in the title picture, and that seems to be where they're going. On the other, I also don't just want to put Charlotte back in another main event feud, so I'm conflicted on where this all goes. I just don't want Asuka to lose. I'm happy she didn't lose, but I would have liked a decisive ending.
Of course, for the record, I mean, what happened the following night on Raw, they went at it again. It was another interesting finish, to say the least, and it looks like Nia is going to continue for a while, so I don't know. I see your point, but if it was up to me, I feel like if it was up to you as well, Wolf, the farther Nia gets away from that, the better. And even if it is Charlotte, I'm down with it. RJ.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Wolf. I mean, like, the match wasn't a total entire piece of crap just because Asuka's so good, really. But the ending, just like, we're going to keep Nia Jax around, and I can't really agree with the ending there. Double count out. I mean, for whatever reason, they like to keep Nia as this strong push all the time that she needs, but double count out, she can't lose to Asuka, and I don't get it. I think I would prefer Charlotte. I mean, as much as I'm almost like sick of her at this point, she is a very good, talented performer, and we know they're going to get to that. So let's get Nia out of the picture. Let's get this Charlotte Asuka feud out of the way, hopefully leading to Asuka beating her, and then we move on to Asuka bigger and better things. But I really don't think they need to drag this Nia feud on just to prolong the Charlotte feud to begin with.
Pete?
Yeah, well, they said it wasn't a pile of crap match. I thought it was a pile of crap match. I thought it was.
Oh, it was, but it wasn't.
I thought it was rubbish. I thought Asuka really, really tried to bring out a good match in Nia Jax, and I commend her for the effort, but I think she failed in trying to do it. And I don't think it's her fault because it looked for a lot of it that she was trying to wrestle around the log. So I just don't get why we're protecting Nia. Like, why do we need to protect Nia? Like, just give her the loss. Start Asuka's reign off with a clean win for once. And he's saying you don't know if you want Charlotte in a feud, but at least I know if Charlotte's feuding with Asuka, I'm going to get some fantastic matches out of it. I'm probably going to get a better story. Charlotte's a better promo than Nia as well. Like, I'm fine with Charlotte being in one top feud. Just don't give me her in the 3 top feuds on each brand. That's where I draw the line. So she is a fantastic wrestler. I think we're going to get a triple threat at Extreme Rules. I think Charlotte's going to end up pinning Nia. I think she might win the belt, and I think Asuka's going to come back for it at SummerSlam. In that, finally try and beat her. That's what I say. I'd also like to point out, this is the only prediction I got wrong on this whole card. This is the only one I got wrong. And who the hell would have predicted a double count out?
Vince Russo.
This cost me
more likely than a Nia
full
win.
house.
Thank
This
you.
cost me my full house and
People saw the graphic. We know. We all saw it. So moving on.
Disgrace.
Hey, Jose, how many points did you have?
3 special points.
Just saying.
Three special points. Let's move it down. Oh, my dog's going at it again. Jeff Hardy, Sheamus with a nice good bro kick, a very clean win. I know a lot of people were anticipating Hardy to win. In like in the little redemption with the weird unique situation that's been going on with Hardy. Not the case. Not a bad match per se. Hardy, was all right, but at the end of the day, Sheamus just I don't know. I don't know if I would have given Sheamus the win. Sorry, that's my dog is going on in the background. I don't know if I would have given Sheamus the win, but here it is what it is. Let's start off with Wolf again.
I mean, is Oliver okay?
Oliver, my dog's great. Oliver's fine. Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's basically what you can expect from a Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy match. Seems like it was ripped from a SmackDown in 2009, but whatever. It was good. They did what they needed to do. Both, got to hit their moves. I would have liked Hardy to win because I don't want any feud involving urine to go past, one pay-per-view cycle. But whatever. It is what it is. It wasn't a great match. It was a technically okay match. I don't have any real major thoughts on it other than the story surrounding it is what makes me change the channel on Friday nights.
RJ.
So yeah, like you guys said, I mean, like, match was fine. Did what it needed to do. Hardy does a good job selling a beating, and Sheamus does a good job beating the crap out of people. Like, it was a totally fine match. Wasn't really a big pay-per-view match, but would have been a solid SmackDown match, like Wolf pretty much just said, from 2009. So I was a little surprised about the winner, but I'm hoping that it was clean enough that Jeff can move on to somebody new. Again, we got the whole, maybe this is Sheamus. It probably is, but maybe it isn't. Maybe we do see who the real person that set Jeff up comes up now that they both have a decisive win over each other. So match was okay. I didn't turn my head away from it. I watched it, which is nice. And winner surprised me, but I'm hoping that because Sheamus did win so decisively, we might be able to move on to something new.
Pete?
I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a good match. I thought out of all the undercard matches, it was probably the second best one on the show. Which I thought I put together a really nice match. It wasn't anything special, but I think Sheamus has a very underrated moveset actually in WWE. I think he's, when you actually look at that arsenal and when he puts it together, I think he's actually quite good in the ring. And you've also got to remember Sheamus has only just come back as well. Unfortunately, he was putting that he was putting the Shorty G fairly crap angle straight away, but he's also trying to build up a bit of momentum on his return. So that's why I kind of saw him winning this. And I thought they've acted it pretty well as well. I've been quite convinced by Sheamus being like convinced that Jeff is a junkie in essence, and he's sold me that it isn't him. Like, he doesn't actually know about it. And I didn't actually mind the SmackDown segment either. I know a lot of people hated it and stuff. I didn't mind it. It was obviously a rehash of the Shawn and Vince angle from ages ago, but I thought it was all right. And if you haven't gone to see it, then go and watch it because you're in for a treat. Literally, you're in for a treat.
God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a very good point that Pete brought up. Yeah, Sheamus has only been back now for not too. How long has it been now? Is he back? 2 months, 3?
Just a couple months.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it still feels fairly recent, so I see why. But I also, like RJ said, I also do hope that I feel like it was clean enough for the guy, for Hardy, and I feel like this is something you can move forward to. I don't know to what, but I hope that this is something you just bury under the rug, because I know even some people that we know were feeling uncomfortable with the whole junkie stuff. I can see why people would, because of the subject matter. I mean, of course, we've seen crazier stuff in WWE, but yeah, again, like at the end of the day, nothing to it. So it's something we just move along. The night opened up with the women's tag team championship. Bayley and Sasha ended up retaining against Bliss and Cross and the Iconics. Of course, now it's moving forward to Raw next week before NXT this past Wednesday, assuming that they retain. Bayley and Sasha continue this with the Iconics. The thoughts on the match itself? Not a bad opening match, I guess. You know, the Iconics look happy to be there, which is good. But again, and this is why I was saying like earlier, this feels like a lot of the card was just like blech. It's nothing like exciting to say the least, and this is just another example. So again, for me, it was what it was, like the other few matches. So I'm gonna start with Pete on this one.
This was very average. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was okay. It did the job. I thought there was one very brutal looking knee in there. I think it was Billie Kay got kneed in the head at one point. Well, this was about how I expected it to go. I thought Bayley was going to get taken out of action, and then Sasha would somehow pick up the win for the team. I thought it'd be a little bit more decisive than a roll up, but it continues the story as I thought the story should be continued. So it was all right. It was acceptable. It was nothing to write home about.
RJ?
Yeah, the match was okay. There was a couple sloppy moments, just like you said, with the knee there, and but it was an average match. I do think the match on SmackDown was better. The ones where Bayley and Sasha picked up the titles against Alexa and Nikki, I thought that one was a little better. But this overall, it did its job. It was okay, and Bayley and Sasha got the win to move on the story with the Iconics. So it did its job. I just thought it was just meh. It might have been the second worst match on the card, but it was okay.
Wolf?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I didn't actually see this match. I was busy making dinner, and I was on the phone with somebody. But what? Do you want me to just pull a bunch of crap out of my butt and say, like, oh, well, this move? No. I didn't see this match. I heard it was okay. I'm in no real rush to go watch it back because I missed it. I agree with the result, and I hope it somehow leads to Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox getting the titles this Wednesday, because I'd love to see them against the Iconics more than I want to see Bayley and Sasha, but, probably getting ahead of myself there.
Yeah, of course. And as a reminder to everybody, we tape our episodes on Tuesday. So by the time this releases, even for patrons, we have no idea if Sasha and Bayley lose the title. If they do, that actually would be extremely interesting.
I feel like it's always something I say that leads you to remind the people that this is taped in advance.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, like if you're a patron, you should know by now that, like, hey, we gotta get this out to you guys sooner than later. And if you're not a patron, we'll get on it. Let's move on. Let's move on to the card here. Before we get to I sent these guys something. And I realized I forgot to add a point here. Normally, like I said last week, if any match is added on to the main card, we'll predict it and then if anything that's not on the pre-show will not. Well, Apollo and Andrade were moved to the pre-show, but Street Profits and the Viking Raiders were added on to the main card. We all said Street Profits, so we said, okay, whatever. Thank God we said whatever, because what happened this past Sunday with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders was interesting,
Questionable.
It fits somehow.
It fits. Wolf. Anybody else?
I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it was.
And let's quick explain it. So the Raiders and the Street Profits started, fighting in the parking lot, breaking Braun Strowman's car again. Poor soul, because that's a really nice car. They started to use all the weapons that they've had from their past matches or games. The bowling ball, golf club. I can't remember what else they've had a lot of stuff. And so they started to fight, started to smash each other through the window. It was going fairly well, like a nice little, somewhat cinematic backstage brawl. It was highly entertaining until these random group of guys in motorcycles, showed up in ninja masks. Akira Tozawa came back with this big dude, this big ninja, and that's really, I feel like, where we need to leave it off, because Pete, let's start with you. Go.
You've got to talk about this, because this was it was so eventful and so happening that you have to at least acknowledge it, I guess.
Well, that's why I bring it up.
But I describe this at some point as a one-night stand with a kinky Russian woman. It was sort of fun at the time. It was a bit weird, kind of painful, and then the next day was just filled with misery, regret, and disappointment.
I have many questions, but I'll let you keep going.
Sure. Can we also acknowledge?
I have to ask you about that.
Does anyone find it a bit uncomfortable that they brought Akira Tozawa back as a ninja?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really distasteful.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this guy was a face, like, not long ago, and suddenly he's a heel ninja boss. Because we know the reasons why he's been made a heel ninja boss.
For sure.
And Vince McMahon's mind. But this is, in my opinion, just really distasteful. Why we've got ninjas in the first place? Is Akira Tozawa now in a tag team? Is he after the tag team belts? What the hell is going on here? Is my only question. Why do we have, like, swamp creatures living in the
Why was there
I mean, if he tags up with Big Ninja and goes after the tag belts,
I would.
like, maybe this is just a whole way to debut him. We're just debuting Big Ninja because he's 7'9".
Yeah, it's Giant Gonzalez.
He's huge.
I mean,
that's not like a kayfabe height. That is legitimately, he's like, the guy is actually 7.
I think he's like 7'4". Yeah.
Someone in our chat thought it was Titus O'Neil. Do you see the size of this guy? Someone's like,
Jordan.
Titus.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Jordan. Something.
Yeah, Jordan.
He's in NXT. He's developmental.
Yeah. I thought it was Babatunde when I saw it, if I'm being honest.
Frankly, it's a little weird that one of Dusty Rhodes' sons has his own wrestling promotion, yet this is the most WCW thing in the world right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think we'd get another version of the Mummy in 2020.
It feels like more like 2008 Impact.
Yeah,
whatever it is, I just don't know what to make of it. I don't know why they got rid of the alligator on Raw. So where'd he go? Whatever. The whole segment fit in the tone of what the Profits and the Raiders have been doing so far, and I commend WWE for this not leaking whatsoever, because that's pretty impressive in today's society. I just don't, and I was entertained by it. I was uncomfortable with the ninja stuff. I just don't really know what this is. It's like question mark.
Can we also mention, like, when he kept falling asleep, and why are we doing flashbacks to awful segments that no one wanted to see in the first place? It's like, do you know when a sitcom does here's like a load of history moments, and they do like snippet segments and everything, when they go, here's like all the segments of this person kissing this person. Here's all the
Blanche, remember when you found
montage? Yeah,
the montage episode. It's like that, but on a sitcom no one ever wanted to watch.
Very true.
Okay.
RJ, your thoughts on the whole thing?
It was about as ridiculous as they've been kind of going for. I've really actually enjoyed their little like best of 7 series with like the basketball. It's very silly, but I love silly, so I mean I'm cool with it. This was a little over the top silly. I could see some people really enjoying it, and I could see some people thinking it's the dumbest thing they've ever seen. It fits with what they're doing. Again, not even really sure what happened. I did laugh when he summoned the turkey leg.
I was gonna say Hansen with the force and the turkey leg was amazing.
That's canon now.
And I did think that was funny. And this little series has really actually made me enjoy the Prophets and the Viking Raiders a lot more, because the Viking Raiders have a lot more like charisma and like comedy than I thought that they had in them. So they've been really good as well. So I've enjoyed this all, but I'd rather come on. Let's just see a match. Like, let's get this match done. Like, the silliness has gotten a little bit too far. Maybe this leads to them being a Survivor Series team. I don't know.
Oh no, not that far. Oh,
but like I don't know.
Yeah, we can do this till
I don't know
November.
what month of the year it is right now, man. I don't know when Survivor Series is.
That's November. We're in June. Good
we got
God.
another 5 months. We got another 5 months.
Maybe
until
that doesn't
Survivor
happen.
Series.
But
Charlie called. She thinks that feud is too long.
But let's get this match done. Like, they've got this respectful feud, which also surprised me why they were brawling in the first place, considering they've been buds for like 2 months. So that beginning kind of threw me off. I mean, let's get this match on. Let's get this match out of the way, because I have enjoyed both these guys. But let's move on from the silliness to the actual wrestling.
So we know it's going to be a swamp monster dumpster match at Extreme Rules.
Absolutely,
it has
That's
to
what it
be.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're actually doing gator wrestling in Florida.
At the end of the wow. At the end of the day, guys, Hansen's cute, and Rowe not so much. All right, let's move on to let's move on to the match that, again, that we had a lot of people suspected that because Heyman was officially removed from his position as lead creative writer, that this was moved to the pre-show. Apollo Crews and Andrade for the United States Championship. Again, solid match. These two we have already proven that they're great when they're wrestling each other. It worked again this time. Very, very unfortunate that they got pushed down to the pre-show, and it's sad because I mean, like, if it really was the case of Heyman, wanting to push the big, wanting to push the new and up and coming talent, and as soon as he's gone, Bruce Pritchard takes over, and this happens, it's not a good sign, and it's like, aside from that, I liked it. We all anticipated Apollo to retain, and he did. Good for him. And now moving forward, you got like Apollo potentially joining with MVP, which I would like to see. Of course, to be determined as the weeks go by. RJ, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I think that showing what happened on Raw after, I do think that they're going to keep this whole like Andrade, Angel Garza, and like Apollo. I think they're still going to keep getting pushed. Like, I don't think with Heyman getting moved, I still think that those 3 guys are going to be fairly safe after at least seeing what happened on Raw. So I'm hoping so, because Apollo has been awesome since coming back, and it looks like he might even like show some heel tendencies going forward after that talk with MVP, the way he won on Raw, which I think would be an interesting character for Apollo to not like go full heel right away, but start showing some heel tendencies while also being that like smiley guy, but also being a lot more aggressive. So I think that he's done a good job, as well as the other 2. I like the match. Andrade, he's an amazing wrestler, so he's gonna turn anything into a good match. And Apollo's been on fire. I originally missed it because it was on the pre-show, because I watched Backlash as a repeat because I was back to work this weekend. So I had to watch his repeat, and I originally missed the match because I didn't know it was on the pre-show. So I had to go watch it after I watched Backlash, and it was a pretty solid match. A little disappointing that I was on the pre-show, but positive that these guys are still going to get some good screen time going forward.
Wolf?
I thought it was a pretty solid match, Nothing that we haven't really seen before from these 2 guys. It's weird to, I don't know. I didn't really think too much of it, It kind of was what it was. It didn't do too much for me. It was a solid match. I hope that they keep pushing Apollo. I don't know where they're going to go with it.
Pete?
Apollo Crews is my new favorite wrestler. I have now decided.
Okay. Okay.
Because one of my most hated moves in all of wrestling is the double foot stomp in the corner, where the wrestler holds himself up and gets stomped.
Oh yeah.
And Apollo Crews is the first logical man in the world who has gone, you know what, I'm just going to let go, and he missed. And that has just solidified him for me. He's the first person who's actually gone, instead of holding myself up to be stumped, I'm going to let go. Then the guy can't use his move, and then I'm going to fling him into the corner. If Apollo Crews becomes the guy who just does wrestling logically, and whenever things that you shouldn't be selling, he stops selling those. He stops holding himself up for moves. If he becomes that guy, I've got to love Apollo Crews. That's all I want from him now. The match needed 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
It was on a pre-show. It was 7 minutes long. Why have you got a 7-minute long one match on an hour-long pre-show? Like, you had the time to give it, and you didn't. But I'm hoping it leads to a fatal four-way, and I hope it's leading into Apollo versus Garza versus Andrade versus Owens in the fatal four-way match for the title, because I think that could rival Cesaro, Miz, Owens, and Zayn's fatal four-way match
awesome
from a few years ago. And that's what I'm hoping for from this. So let's get there. It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing. I don't think any more to say that. Nothing else to say. Well, I can't talk today. Nothing else more to say other than it should have been longer, and it did not deserve on the pre-show. It deserved to be there at the end of the day. The match that had us all laughing last week and calling people cowards and laughing at picks and peer pressuring others to go the way that ended up working out. Braun Strowman, Miz and Morrison. Braun Strowman retained. Of course, one little note to make before we talk about the match itself was Otis teasing to Miz and Morrison that he was potentially going to cash in that Money in the Bank contract. Didn't end up doing it. And of course, when we stopped recording last week, and then after the fact, I think a few days after we taped, we were starting to talk, and then we realized, what if Miz and Morrison actually do win? And then Otis cashes in. So it gave RJ and Wolf a little bit of hope. Not a lot, but it was there. Not a bad match. Strowman retaining was very easily predicted and very easily seen, except by the men to my right and to the bottom right.
Was it easier than the other matches you got wrong, Jose?
Dang. Oh, that was good. I hate you. I hate you. All right, let's start with you, RJ. Peace.
Okay, so I actually kind of wanted to go first here because I really liked this match. And I don't know if I'm the only one who really liked this match, but I thought this match was a blast. I thought Morrison was awesome. I thought Miz and Morrison were both really creative with their quick tags. I thought this was a quick-hitting, fast-moving match, and it's a Braun match. Like, it's exactly what you need it to be. I had a blast with this match. It was fast. It was quick-paced. I thought Miz and Morrison were both really good. I thought Braun did his job. I think I'm going to be the only one who thinks that, because I think this is going to be blasphemous, but I really like this match. And I told Jose that, and he didn't answer me, so I knew that he didn't like it. Or at least I remember I messaged you right when it happened. I'm like, man, I really like the handicap match, and you didn't get back to me. So I'm like, oh man, I think
it was I don't know why. Normally I would respond to you when I just said
anyway.
I did.
I thought it was a really good match. I don't know what you guys think about it. I thought it was really good. And I think that even though it was, at the end of the day, predictable with how Miz kind of yanked Morrison off when he had the chance to win, but the immediate regret, like, oh my God, like, what did I just do? Like, I'm just selfish, and throws him back on. I thought that was a cool little way to do that and, show that Miz, did still kind of feel bad and support his friend. So I really like this match. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what you guys thought.
I did ignore RJ. My bad. I did ignore RJ. Sorry. Sorry, because you spoke about Drew and Lashley right after, and that's why I commented on it. Sorry. Pete?
Can I also just mention, like, not only did we have all the shenanigans last week, but Wolf actually bet me $10 that Miz and Morrison were going to win this match. Like, that is the easiest money I've ever made. Like, I've never been as confident in anybody winning a match as Braun Strowman winning this match.
Can I just point out, we've 13 episodes in now, and this is the first time I've seen Wolf quiet. First time I've seen him just wallowing in the dark, even though it's just a shade of his room. The first time where he doesn't make any smarky comment. He is just barely putting it on a smile. Now he's putting it on a smile. But today it's a very different Wolf.
He's just taking it.
And I kind of like this. Back to you, Pete.
Yeah, I'm also going to throw out
Wait. I'm sorry, Pete. Can I just say one thing?
Yep.
Oh, no, why'd I talk?
Mystery opponent.
Yeah, great. That was
Carry
3
on,
episodes
carry
ago.
on.
Yeah, I picked the mystery opponent as well, so it's fine.
Come on, dog.
What we're basically establishing is I'm good at making predictions and I'm sensible. So the other thing I just wanted to point out is I went back to try and find like the news headlines from before Backlash took place to find out what the odds were of Miz and Morrison winning that match. So like the betting odds.
Oh, I think I did
went
look
back
those up.
to find them afterwards because obviously you don't want to look before and I don't want to see spoilers, don't want to see
Yeah,
any
of course, yeah.
But I went back to find them. You could get 16-1 odds on Miz and Morrison winning that match. That means you could bet $1, £1, whatever it is, to win 16 if they won that match. That's what you're given. To bet on Braun Strowman, you would have had to bet $25 to win 1 if you wanted to pick Braun Strowman.
So to counter that, I remember the year that Zack Ryder won at WrestleMania. He was like 47-1 to win that match.
I'm not saying it can't
thought
happen.
about it, so it's possible.
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying
It's not.
Wolf
going
bet
to.
me $10 that Miz and Morrison were going to win this at even odds.
Okay.
At USD or British pound?
I think I think he paid me in euros. Weirdly,
Oh, okay. Right.
but don't know why. But it's amusing. It was neither of our currencies, so take that as you will. The match itself, I actually thought was a bit shit. If I'm being honest, sorry, RJ.
I thought somebody would. I thought I was going to be in the minority. Like, in this match. I just thought it was fun.
I'm surprised how strong they kept Miz and Morrison as well. I'm surprised they gave them the basically false 3 count when Miz pulled him off. Sorry, I'll rephrase that, where Miz broke up the pinfall.
I got you. I got it.
Yeah, that was accidental as well.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently, so was Miz breaking up that pinfall. He changed his mind afterwards, whatever. I was very convinced there was going to be a double power slam finish. That didn't happen, but it was still a fairly dominant win, and it was fine. We're going to get some kind of feud, I'm guessing, for Extreme Rules. I don't know who with, and then probably the Fiend's going to appear at the end of that, and that's going to be a SummerSlam story.
Yeah, I mean, the Fiend is expected to return with the Firefly Funhouse, or Bray Wyatt at least with the Firefly Funhouse this week. So we could be revisiting again. RJ,
I do want to add one thing here.
Go.
So wouldn't it be more in Miz and Morrison's favor if they had a triple threat match? Because you have to tag in and out in a handicap match.
Right.
Like,
and
wouldn't it be
yeah.
more in their favor if they just had a triple threat match?
Yes, but then it becomes like ridiculous because surely then you just throw Braun out the ring and pin one of the other guy.
Yeah, it's true.
You just pick one of you to pin each other, and then it wouldn't make.
I guess it becomes 2 in their
sense.
favor at that point.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You think maybe a tornado handicap match, does that work? Where you can both be in the ring at the same time?
Yeah.
But you can't pin each other.
All right, let's get to Wolf. He's been very quiet. He has a very serious face on. Wolf. I've never seen him like this. This is great. It's a good contrast.
He's turning into Seth Rollins. He's getting really quiet, and it's like he's having an epiphany. He's just going to turn into the Messiah.
If I'm being honest, I was just reading a text message on my laptop. But okay. Yeah. Pete, I hate you. My plan for when I won was to hire Arnel Pineda on Cameo to sing Who's Crying Now with lyrics amended specifically to Pete. But
when
I
won.
Like, obviously that didn't happen. But anyway, this match didn't go the way I wanted. Life sucks.
And then you died.
It wasn't a great match. And I don't know. I guess it kind of did. I guess Miz and Morrison were only ever just a placeholder. I wanted to, be smarky and, have a parade and say, look at these co-champions. Because Miz and Morrison are more entertaining to me than Braun Strowman is. But I guess if The Fiend is coming back, then that's something we're building to. So I guess I agree with the result. I don't agree that Pete should be champion and have my $10, but whatever. Yeah.
I mean, let's point out it's not $10; it's €10.
That's like 100K.
It's pounds. Pounds. Euros is not England.
No, but Pete just said you sent him euros.
I sent him pounds.
I can't remember. He might have done it. I could have sworn when I looked at it, it looked like euros.
Yeah, next time we have like an inter-country bet, let's get the currency correct, gentlemen. Let's keep it fair.
I thought we were genuinely betting $10, so I was quite happy when the money came through. I was like, you overpaid me.
Whatever. Who's crying now?
We'll just send like 8,000 pesos. None of us use that currency.
Oh yeah, we can have a pesos.
Or like Czech coronas.
Or Zimbabwean dollars.
The
How
Zimbabwean
about magic beans? I'll send you a bag of beans.
I think
All right,
Zimbabwean dollars
that's
is about $3 million to the pound.
All right, let's move on to the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. I'm gonna say that yes, despite my criticism from the week before, this actually was Bobby Lashley's maybe one of his best matches ever that he had.
His best match ever.
It was really, really good. I'm happy for Bobby that he got this opportunity, and again against Drew, he looked good. They both looked great. Of course, we all saw the ending a mile away. When I mean a mile away, I feel like we could have went around the world 80 times and then still came up with the same result. Lana came running in to try to aid Bobby. Distraction, and then the Claymore, which God, can Drew do that pretty good? 1, 2, 3, it's over. And of course, the night after on Raw, Bobby Lashley asked for a divorce. Oh no, oh dear. So Wolf, she's single. Have fun. And let's start with Wolf on this. On your thoughts on the match.
Solid match. I don't think it was Lashley's best. And I don't mean this I mean this with complete sincerity. My favorite Bobby Lashley match was actually versus Braun Strowman last year at Extreme Rules. I thought that was a really good match. Then followed closely after by his match versus Roman Reigns maybe 2 years ago. He's better with bigger opponents, I think. He has a decent showing. I wouldn't mind seeing him versus Big Show, but that would mean I'd have to watch a Big Show match.
Well, he is face again now.
Maybe Bray.
Yeah, he's face today. Who knows? But anyway, I think Lashley, I don't know if he's done in the title picture. I get why the ending happened. I don't necessarily think it was a great idea, but at least it logically makes sense within the story they've been telling, and it wasn't unexpected, totally unexpected. And I'm just glad that Drew still has the title.
RJ.
Yeah, so I thought this match was awesome. I really liked this match. I wasn't planning on it. I didn't think I was going to really enjoy it. I was playing MLB The Show all the time, ripping some moments, and I paused the game to continue watching this match because it was so good. It was awesome. And there was that little moment at the beginning where Drew had that botch on the outside where he almost landed on his neck on that almost fireman's carry move, where I thought that maybe that match was going to start to kind of go downhill, but they kept it together, and this match really got good, especially in the middle where Drew started going for the Kimura and they started doing that little submission back and forth. I really got into this match and I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think that MVP and Lashley are a really solid upper card duo together. I really hope that they stay together and they get Lana the heck out of here, which it seems like they're going to do, even if they just put her in some random tag team with Natty, which I guess is what they're going to be doing now. But if that gets her out of the way of Lashley, then that's cool. I don't think Lashley should maybe have won the title. I'm happy to let Drew still the champion, like Wolf said, but I really, really like this match.
Atkinson.
I think this, of all my greatest match jokes last week, this is the only one that might have been correct. And this might have been the best rehashed Impact match WWE have done.
Considering they've been Matt Hardy for a while, yeah, that's kind of impressive.
This might be the one that, this was a fantastic match, to be honest. Yes, there was the botch at the start, as you meant, but they were building this beautiful cake. They sprinkled on some lovely bits counters in there, some great little sequences on top. They built some little nice false finishes, some great submissions on there, and then Lana came and pissed on it.
Yeah.
Can we stop talking about urine?
Yes. That was the last time, I promise.
I gotta be right back.
It just ruined the ending for me. I thought this was a brilliant match all the way through, and it just spoiled the ending because I didn't see where the ending was coming from. I didn't know how it was going to end. I was curious. I had some predictions of how it was going to end, and then as soon as Lana appeared, I went, "Oh, that's how we're doing it." And yeah, it was only 30 seconds later, but it was a bad 30 seconds.
I
on
mean,
top of a fantastic match, and it
yeah.
did just drop it down that notch for me. It was still great, but it dropped it down from excellent to great, just that little notch.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah, I
wish
agree.
that I can see why people would wish that they didn't use Lana to get to the conclusion of his match, because you still could have just without her, it just would have been fine. Just like, again, the Claymore game over, right? So it's unfortunate, but it's that is going to end hopefully in the next 2 weeks, maybe next week. So finally, that's all I can.
Yeah,
That's all we can
But
say.
that feels like dampening a great match to logically finish a crap story.
Yeah. So it's over. Thank goodness,
Mhm.
because I know, like, at least with that marriage since December, we're all wondering how is this going to end, and it never got its conclusion because Russo was out of the company. So good for them. It's over. We can move on, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move on. Just forget about it. All right. It's a match that had everybody talking for the wrong reasons in the lead up to it. The greatest wrestling match ever, Edge and Randy Orton. Who would have thought that at the end of the day, this ended up being a really great match? I'm going to be the first to say it. That was pretty damn good. And it went, I believe, about, what was it, 40 minutes? Some people said 50.
44:05.
44:05. So it didn't feel like 44:05. And when a match doesn't feel like it's 44:05, that means it's pretty damn good. The last man standing match, we felt it. We felt that was going on a long time. But this one, it was just going along so well. We're like, oh, wait, how long have we been at this? And boom. Incredible. I thought it was great. And in my opinion, and I know this is going to garner some conversation, at least with the four of us, I think that it's time to drop the tagline, because at the end of the day, the tagline didn't really matter. I mean, it did, but it was going so well. Like, I know there were the graphics and the ring skirt, the LED boards are all saying greatest wrestling match ever. But honestly, as the match is going along, I'm like, hey, this is just really good. Let's just sit back and enjoy for what it is. Let's forget about the whole promo, the hoopla, in my opinion. And that's why I think at the end of the day it was just that good. I mean, yeah, could it have gone without the tagline? Obviously. But I think I forgot who was saying it in our group chat that if this tagline wasn't there, would they have made the effort that they did on Sunday?
Yeah, I wanted to say that. I think the tagline helped. If you want,
I think the
honest
tagline
opinion.
helped it a lot. I mean,
I disagree.
and I think it's to the point where it's like, okay, like, oh my god, I just forgot my point again. What I was gonna say. Oh, not again. I had it, and it
I'll make a
slipped.
quick point. I think
RJ, still let's start with RJ.
I do
Hot
think
tag.
I do think the tagline helped, and it was ridiculous. It was obviously not going to be the greatest match ever, but I do think that they tried really hard because of it. The whole, like, the feint coming down with the microphone, it was gimmicky, but it was super cool.
I liked
They
it.
had
The
the crowd noise piped in. They really tried, which I think worked. The commentary was really good, even though it was voiced over, because Samoa Joe is awesome on commentary. And the two of them worked really hard to make a really, really good match. And I do think that, even though we all knew it wasn't going to be the greatest match ever, I think them trying to lead it up to make us think that they were going to try at least. Like, the company wanted this to be good. The two of them wanted this to be good. I do think that maybe it didn't help, because maybe they would have done that anyway. But I think pushing it as the greatest match ever, even though it didn't get to that point, made them try a lot harder. And it ended up really being a massive positive of the show. It was really good.
Some other fun. I mean, of course, the other fun aspects to point out was just the crazy amount of finishers that were used, not just from them, but just to start off with Edge, the execution that came back after a long time, that was fantastic. All of a sudden, the Three Amigos, the angle slam that came out of nowhere, the rock bottom that came out of nowhere. Like, at one point, I was waiting for the stunner. I'm like, somebody's got to bring out a stunner here for bringing out the rock bottom, the pedigree, so many little tidbits. I'm like, okay, this is actually unexpected. This is actually making me jump out of my seat. And then as soon as the punt came in, oh my goodness. And I feel like that's something we haven't seen in a while either. Right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, they haven't let him punt anybody in a while.
So that's why you're like,
quite a few
Last time they at least teased it was the Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam a couple of years ago.
so
And before that, I don't know when he actually did it.
let's go with
I know he's teased it against, like, Daniel Bryan before as well, but he didn't use it.
Maybe.
let's go with Wolf.
Okay. I don't know what the hell to make of any of this, because on the one hand, you're right, they probably wouldn't have put in the effort without that tagline. So it's kind of like, chicken or the egg. Would they have had that match if that wasn't that pressure? I don't even know. But we can't just gloss over the tagline. It's like in the movie Inception when they say, "Don't think about elephants. What do you think about?"
True.
So, you can't ignore something that's being thrown in your face that readily. And I at least like that they may have been trying to be a little bit campy with how over the top the presentation was, to try to at least make it seem like they were in on the joke. And like I said before, the only way this really would have paid off was if they had a really good match, which they did, or if the punchline to whatever this was really funny, which it wasn't. Edge and Orton absolutely put on the best match that these two could have. Possibly a best match for both men. That's up for debate. I would have to go back and look at a lot of things. But I think this was Randy Orton's best match, at least. Edge, I'm not so sure about, but he pulled out a lot for somebody that hasn't done this one-on-one for about 9 years. And I was very pleased with the effort that we got. I just can't go ahead and call it the greatest wrestling match ever. I'm closer to calling it that than I assumed I would be able to. But something like that for me is like Okada Omega. That's the greatest wrestling match ever. That's just my opinion. It's way closer to greatest wrestling match ever than any of us thought they would be able to make it, but it's just not there. That's where I'm at.
Aside from WWE, because obviously WWE is going to push it. Is anybody really saying it is the greatest wrestling match ever?
The way of phrasing it, though, is if somebody did, I wouldn't call them stupid. And before this match happened, if someone had actually legitimately called it that, I would have expected to think they were an idiot. But I would not be that upset if this was legitimately their favorite or best match in their opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, a favorite, or I think favorite is one thing, but again, kind of like to Wolf's point, the greatest ever. When you compare it to stuff like Okada Omega, to run down the list that I ran down last week.
Andre and Hogan.
What?
I hadn't said anything funny in a while. Give me that.
At the time, man. At the time, man.
Not at the time.
It was the thing, man.
Even at the time,
hey, man,
you had Steamboat and Flair on that.
Exactly.
On that same show.
I'm gonna say this, right? You triggered me here. I'm gonna quickly go off tangent for 1 second.
I don't disagree with anything he's about to say, folks.
No. Look. I'm just gonna say this, right? Because I just want to say this because you brought that up. If anybody in the world thinks that is the greatest WrestleMania main event match ever, they need to get themselves checked out for God knows what. Because there are a lot of especially the old timers, think that is legitimately the best WrestleMania main event ever just because of a slam. And it's not, people. Let's get it. Sure, big moment. No. Shut up. Sorry. Pete, let's go with the only back.
Oh, that was worth it.
Can we all just acknowledge that Randy Orton is the biggest troll ever?
Oh, that
not because he put on the greatest match, but because he won it with a thigh slap.
I was gonna bring that up.
That was awesome. It. After all the criticism of Ciampa and Gargano and that, he wins it with a massive leg slap.
A huge, loud.
Oh yeah, flap. It was. This is not the greatest match ever. As you mentioned, things like Omega versus Okada. At the end of Omega versus Okada 4, I was basically in tears. I was it was that emotional by the end of it on a match, not even a storyline. But they put on a damn near effort. I think Wolf said, I think it is the greatest Randy Orton match ever. I was trying to look back over them. I couldn't think of any. Maybe the triple threat from Mania 30 might be up there, but I think this was better than that. I think it's probably in the top few Edge matches ever. I think there's a couple I preferred from Edge in the past, but not many. Definitely not many. But I'm just going to mention, when you said they were hitting all the finishes of other wrestlers and burying all their moves and kicking out with them, etc. When he hit the rock bottom, legitimately in my mind, I went, "Oh, bookend."
Bookend.
The bookend, yeah.
Really?
I legit went in my head. First thought was, "Oh, the bookend," and then the commentary team went, "Rock bottom." I went, "Oh yeah, I'm an idiot."
Did Edge and Booker tag at one point in
time?
Edge and
they had
Booker
a fantastic WrestleMania match.
Yeah. I know where that was. Sorry.
Hey, the bookend came first.
The bookend did come first.
Because it come first.
Everybody knows.
Definitely less famous.
I thought they did team. Yeah, they had a rivalry in 2002 over hair shampoo, which culminated at WrestleMania.
I'm sure they've tagged at least at one point. I don't know if long term.
I thought they did.
They've both had a lot of tag partners, so it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, Edge has had so many. Like, I think you also. I love the fact he used the Angle Slam as well, especially after Angle had said Edge is going to win the match. That was great. I loved he used the pedigree after his favorite wrestler, Seth Rollins. That was great. I thought there was a couple too many finisher kickouts for my liking.
Sure.
Like I didn't like the kicking out of 2 consecutive spears. I thought it was a little bit much, especially after taking the Unprettier, the Education, the Educator, the 3 Amigos, the Rock Bottom. After taking all of these to kick out of 2 consecutive spears, I was a little bit like, okay. The punt kick, great, popped me. I loved Fink being in it. The Fink stuff at the start, I loved that. I thought it was excellent. The camera cuts, I was very worried in the first minute, but it seemed to tone down, and I got used to it. I thought that worked well. The piped in crowd, similar. I found it jarring at the start.
Yeah.
Better as it went on. It made more sense as it went on, I think was the better way to phrase it. And the commentary, excellent. Yeah, it was a fantastic match. It was maybe WWE's best match this year, and maybe for quite a while. I'm trying to think. I preferred it to the SmackDown match, if I'm being honest.
The last match I remember that was, well, and for WWE, I remember I really liked AJ versus Bryan the first time on SmackDown, but that was on SmackDown, and that was still just a regular SmackDown match. So, I mean, I don't remember when we really had a match as good as this.
Like, that's what I'm trying to think of. I'm trying
this
to think
year.
of like Kofi versus Bryan at WrestleMania. That was excellent.
That was good. This was a little better, maybe though.
Like I can think of matches in WWE that I think are better, but I'm trying to think of the last one.
Yeah.
If we're counting NXT, maybe some of their Gargano.
Okay.
Oh,
I was more
NXT.
thinking main roster, but yeah.
The last main roster match I think was as good as this was probably Cena and Punk.
AJ and Roman was really good a couple years ago.
AJ Cena.
And AJ Cena too.
As well.
That's true.
I'd also mention the triple threat match between Rollins, Cena, and Brock. I think
That was awesome too.
That was
It's amazing how often John Cena comes up in these great matches.
John Cena's a
Cena is
good
a
wrestler,
fantastic
man.
Like for all the crap he gets, John Cena puts on a lot of classics.
John's
Yeah, a
a
lot of-
fantastic wrestler.
I do think a thing with John Cena matches too is there was that point where everybody wanted him to lose so bad that it added that like extra like mystique in the match. Like I want him to win so bad that it kind of makes you love the match even more, which kind of worked like that for Roman for me a little bit at times too through that phase where
Yeah.
I wanted AJ to beat Cena so bad that when he did win, it just made the match so much better for me. That's
Yeah, do you
kind of what
remember-
maybe Cena matches are like that.
I was going to say, do you remember Roman and Seth at Money in the Bank 2016?
It's a good match.
Like that match, though, I was just so much wanted Seth Rollins to win. I was so invested in that match.
And then
And
Dean
Mike
comes out and I'm
McMahon.
like, oh my
Did-
god.
Do you remember what the slogan was for that Money in the Bank?
Oh, jeez.
It was the greatest Money in the Bank ever.
No, it wasn't.
That's legitimately what the slogan was going into there.
God
'Cause it's
damn
the
it,
one where the
Wikipedia.
Shield-
Hang on.
Yeah, what
all
was the year? What was the year, Pete?
2016.
I want to say 16.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up.
It's all of the build up to it. They kept saying this could be the greatest Money in the Bank ever.
Every
Because it
Shield
was
meter
one where
touches
the
the
3 Shield
the
members
title.
all held the belt
It
within.
doesn't
2 minutes.
say. Like, I mean, again, I'm on Wikipedia as well, and
Just
Google
do
greatest
it.
Money in the Bank ever.
Sponsored
And,
by
it was-
Gold Bond Powder. Huh.
If you remember,
I don't see anything, Pete. No.
I'm just saying in the build up to it, all they would do on the build up because I remember watching it at the time. It was about when I was getting properly back into wrestling. If I'm being honest, but in the build up, they kept saying this could be the greatest Money in the Bank ever, and everyone kept going, "No, it's not going to be better than 2011 because 2011 Money in the Bank is phenomenal."
I googled Money in the Bank taglines, and all I'm getting is a bunch of slogans for banks. It says open, honest, hardworking, member FDIC, whatever.
All right.
Open
Well, this is where I'm going
Sundays.
to put a. This is where I'm going to put a bow in it. I remember the point I was going to make before because I don't want to. Before we go on, if to me,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it felt like this was a stipulation as opposed to a tagline, which is weird to say. That's what I was going to say.
Sort of.
Yeah, it felt like the stipulation is going to be greatest wrestling match ever. So
Wait, can we just have this be a stipulation going forward to see if it makes people work harder?
that's why I felt like okay, like they're putting on a heck of an effort. So what if we just put that stipulation? All right, guys, you imagine like back in a Triple H, Shawn Michaels, all right, guys, you guys, not Hell in a Cell, greatest match ever, and everybody was like,
Or just, like,
whoa.
Always put that effort in. Like
I know, it's a bad example.
I want Mojo Rawley to
which you would
challenge
hope
R-Truth
for,
to
but-
a greatest wrestling match ever.
All right, gentlemen. So
So okay, I got it slightly wrong.
Riddick
They were
Moss.
advertising it as the greatest Money in the Bank pay-per-view in history. That's what they were
Okay.
advertising it as beforehand.
all right, so gentlemen,
I
final
apologize.
thoughts. Out of 5 stars, Backlash, Wolf,
3.
3, RJ.
Well, yeah.
Oh wait, what? Sorry.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was better than the Backlash I attended and wanted to leave early. So it's all right. 3.
RJ.
I gave Money in the Bank a 4, and it wasn't as good as Money in the Bank, so I'll place 3.5.
Oh, damn. Okay. Pete.
No, it wasn't as good as Money in the Bank.
I think I'd go 3.5 as well, but dragged up a lot by the main event.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3 as well. Just the outside of the main event, I think a lot of it had to be carried. So, yeah, gentlemen, let's wrap it up there for the day. Thank you so much as always, and let's get to the closing. You made it to the end of the episode, and just to put a bow on all this, to put this behind us, yeah, Backlash could have been better. Props to Edge and Randy Orton for pulling off that great match. And of course, the one thing we forgot to mention was the fact that, yeah, there was that tricep injury. Obviously, we hope it's not serious, especially with the comeback this big that Edge had. That would be tough for him. But we'll see what happens. We're at the time of this recording, we don't know any news yet of the tricep tear, so hopefully it's not as bad as people think. So, but I am proud to say that there will be no prediction shows in the next few weeks. Thank goodness, because we've been predicting a lot, just the way the schedule lined up. So that opens the question to what are we doing next week? And I was thinking about it, and I said, you know what? Let's pass it on to the patrons again, because yes, next week it is our Patron of the Month episode for the month of June. So once again, Middle patrons, I'm asking you guys to submit your topics. Whatever you guys want us to discuss about, we'll consider it. Whether it was a suggestion that you had for last month for May, which was very good, by the way. There were a lot of solid suggestions for May. So hopefully you guys submit those again. And you present it to us in June, or if you have something new, lay it on us as well. And of course, if you want to be a part of this, become a Middle patron for the podcast, help support the podcast, its growth, etc. And you can submit a topic for us to discuss, and we will be here next week discussing that. So in saying that is that. Thank you so much for watching. Become a patron, help submit a topic. That will be released to you guys on Wednesday. For patrons, Wednesday. To follow, tweet at us, like us, Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Jose Tawada. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.